A regulatory czar takes a 1,500-page bill. Now that's become law. We're going to have health care. He then makes the regulations, and he turns all the switches within the framework of that bill and says, we're pointing it this direction. The regulatory czar makes all the difference. This is what he has written. How to monetize life years and a willingness to pay is generally the place to begin. Focus the life years run afoul of ethical limits on cost-benefits analysis. It is relevant in this connection that every old person was once young. And if it all goes well, young people will eventually be old. Sound familiar? Same thing Ezekiel Emanuel is saying. If a program would prevent 50 deaths of people who are 20, should it be treated the same way as a program that would prevent 50 deaths of people who are 70? Other things being equal, a program that protects young people seems far better than one that protects old people because it delivers greater benefits. This is Cass Sunstein. Now, AARP, somebody, your constituents, your people who are paying you, need to stand up and demand an answer from you on Cass Sunstein and Ezekiel Emanuel. I wouldn't put these people in my cabinet. I wouldn't pay these people to get me coffee. If you have this kind of point of view, I don't want your advice on health care. The government does not decide which life is valuable and which is not. All life is valuable. Unless you're Terry Schiavo, then we should unplug her. I read a book. Do you have the audio of Hillary Clinton being the great American progressive 20th century? It is critical, America, that you understand who these people are. Play it here, Sarah.
I prefer the word progressive, which has a real American meaning, going back to the progressive era at the beginning of the 20th century. I consider myself a modern progressive, someone who believes strongly in individual rights and freedoms, who believes that we are better as a society when we're working together and when we find ways to help those who may not have all the advantages in life get the tools they need.
You notice that we have helping somebody that doesn't have all the advantages of life. We're going to help those people that don't have all of the advantages of life. Let me ask you a question. Why would we treat somebody's health care differently if they're 25, that they're worth more than somebody who is 65? We don't do that with murder, do we? Murder isn't less of a murder at 65 than it is at 25. If you kill a 25-year-old, you don't go and spend more time than you do a 65-year-old. Justice must be blind, but it's not. The early American progressives, the eugenics people. This book was written, and I read it earlier this year, The Phantom Public. It's by Walter Lippmann. I couldn't read any more Walter Lippmann. I couldn't do it. I tried. I couldn't do it. I read this book. This is from 1925. It's an old book that falls apart in your hands. It is about the phantom public, about how stupid people are and how they just need to have people do all the administrative things for them, make decisions for them. He's looking for the perfect voter, and in it he says, I've tried to imagine how a perfect citizen could be produced. Some will say that he has to be born of the conjunction of the right germ plasms. The pages of books written by Madison Grant, etc. I have seen prescriptions as to just who ought to marry whom to produce a great citizen. Not being a biologist, I keep an open but hopeful mind on this point, tempered, however, with the knowledge that certainty about how to breed abilities in humans is on the whole inverse proportion to the writer's scientific reputation. So in other words, he can't do it because he's not the expert. But he knows we can breed the perfect citizen. It's called eugenics. It was a progressive idea in the 1920s and the early 20th century, started late 1800s. Let me tell you something, gang. The progressives still believe in this stuff. And you are going to see it again rear its ugly head in the healthcare situation. I'll tell you the economics of it next, but if you are a member of AARP, you demand an answer, and demand one from the White House.